Hello? Hello? Anybody home?
Pardon my French, but you're an asshole.
I am McLovin.
This is Three is Company.
We're good streaking! Yeah!
Welcome into Three is Company. I am Q-Tip. Of course, I have Preston Poole alongside with me. We're missing Kylie Osborne today. She's out vacationing, enjoying the summertime, not punishing herself like me and Preston like to do. And Preston, welcome to football season. The Oklahoma City Thunder lose on Saturday night on what was just an insane call, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at QTip47, at Preston Poole 405, and at Kylie Osborne. It's been a while since we've recorded. We've been, cooking up some things. We're changing our schedule a little bit. So you should see our future episodes as long as the boss lets me stick around. Preston, I got kicked off of live radio. Had my last show Saturday, so he wants to preview anything I say now, I guess. No, but you can expect our episodes to drop on Monday mornings now. We changed our schedule. We changed up a lot of things. And we're excited for the future here on Three is Company.
Yeah, we've got some other stuff down the line as well that I'm sure Q-Tip will be a part of as well. So
yeah, we're going to really try and get like pies to the face. We're gonna see if the county fairs will let us broadcast from there. Things like that. Total rodeo. We should go on a rodeo road trip, but like how the Spurs do, but actually make it rodeos.
Yeah. You know what? I'll watch. I don't know if I'm going to be a part of any if livestock or anything like that.
If any rodeo wants to invite us out for a live episode, I will ride a bull. I'll tell you that right now. I will jump on a bull.
Yeah, him, not me. I will not be doing that. I am too big to be doing that because if I fall, I will be falling very hard.
I mean, look, I am no spring chicken. I mean, Preston, it's been a while since we've recorded, so I haven't had a chance to tell you. I think I'm going back into the slow pitch softball world. So you should expect at least one more broken ankle. But the problem is,
you the ankle braces. You're gonna need the double ankle braces for you.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of getting this. Isn't there like a glove that you can put on your hand to slide, like so when you slide?
Oh yeah.
And learn how to slide head first. No more.
I don't know if that's worth the probably $150 they're going to charge you for that thing.
Oh, it's true. So just learn how to slide head first. I guess what's worse, a broken nose or a broken ankle? You know what I mean? So
a broken nose, you might look cooler, I guess. I don't know. Get a couple black eyes.
Oh yeah, then I could tell. Like I could really make up a story about how I beat up some guy or something like that. Yeah. No, but it's still up in the air if I'm going to go back into the slow pitch softball world. I have a buddy that's trying to get us into it, but it really I don't know. It's back and forth. And then Preston, I became an animal shelter for a week, dude. So earlier this week, I get home and there's an Amazon package on my porch, and me and Kaylee are about to go somewhere. So I'm like, hey, go grab that Amazon package before we go anywhere, because you know how people are. They're porch pirates. Truthfully, I didn't know what it was. I was just like, whatever it is, you're gonna be upset if it's gone. So just go get it. And she walks around the corner, and because I'm still sitting in my car whenever I pulled up to my house, and she doesn't come back around for a second. And so I get out of my car. I'm like, what happened? Like, where is she at? And I walk around, and she's petting this damn dog, right? This damn stray dog that walked over into our house and into our garden, and she's like, look how sweet he is. Oh my gosh, dude. So of course we put it in the backyard. It's a sweet dog. I mean, he played and played and played, but he went to the vet yesterday, and the vet said, or he went to the vet Saturday, I should say. And the vet said that he's about 8 months to a year old. So he's just full of puppy energy. And of course, I have a puppy with my golden retriever who's about 6 or 7 months old. So they just tore up my house for a week. But I think I managed to pawn him off to my mom. because yesterday, because I named him Shay, right? And my mom said yesterday after I dropped him off, if the Thunder lose, she's changing his name. So his name is now Oliver.
Okay. As long as it's not Luca or Kyrie or PJ Washington, I think.
Oh no, don't worry. You don't got to worry about this dog sliding into an Instagram model's DM. No, so this dog now has a new home, but it tore up my house for an entire week. And I tell you what, I don't know if you've ever had to try to feed 5 dogs, but it is a mess.
Yeah.
It is a mess, dude. And
I don't think I've owned any more than like 3 at a time. That's about my limit. But I like big dogs, so you can only have so many big dogs before it just turns into like a zoo. So
dude, so Kaylee's mom has 3 big dogs. You're talking about a zoo. She's got a Rottweiler, a pit bull, and a Mastiff.
That's a crew right there,
dude. I mean, you try to break into that house, I think I would leave something. You know? So that's been what's going on. You know, it's one of the reasons we've had some delays recording and everything. But all right, let's get into it, Preston. So we had
let's rip the Band-Aid off.
We've been dancing around it.
Hurt. Yeah.
We've been dancing around it. The Oklahoma City Thunder lose on Saturday night to the Dallas Mavericks. In this series, 4-2, Game 6. The Mavericks beat the Thunder 117-116. Luka with a triple-double, 29, 10, and 10. Kyrie Irving has 22, had 4 points going into the second half. Ends the night with 22. PJ Washington with a full 9 points, and every single one of those 9 points came in clutch time last night. And I think he was scoreless until 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, something like that.
I believe that's right, yeah.
And he scores 9 huge points. Derek Jones with 22 as well. And then what was just and I think the biggest stat, you know, when you look at the box scores, Derek Lively plus 26 on the night. Derek Lively, he might not be a very talented basketball player, right? I mean, on pure basketball skill, but he brings the effort that you kind of want to go get the boards, because during the fourth quarter, they put Derek Lively in. Derek Lively is not a very big guy. I mean, you want to talk about somebody that you think Chet could really line up good against? That'd be Derek Lively. They have about the same frame. And Derek Lively just wanted it more than Chet Holmgren, in my opinion.
And I don't know if you realized this when you were watching the game, Q-Tip, but Daigneault went away from Chet Holmgren for stretches of the game where it's like, what are we doing here? And I get that Chet was in like foul trouble there towards like the end of the game, but this is like win or go home, right? Like if he's going to foul out, he's going to foul out, right? You got to have him in there to play those big minutes, because I mean, you just saw whenever Chet wasn't in there, it was just lob to Lively, lob to Lively, lob to Lively, rebound to Lively, in which Chet, I mean, was just non-existent on the boards last night anyways. I think he only had like 3 or 4, maybe, if that, when Lively had about 57, I think. So it's just one of those things where down the stretch in this series, you just sit back and you look at it. You look at some of the coaching decisions. And this isn't like a criticism of Mark Daigneault, because I still think he's one of the best coaches in the NBA. These guys haven't been there before. They don't know what's really going on. Now they find out. Unfortunately, it comes at the expense of their season losing in the West semifinals.
Yeah, no, and I mean, you're right. Chet only has 3 boards, and that's just, you need more production out of your big man. But in my opinion, Preston, Chet looked like the moment was a little too big. Like what you said, it was first playoff experience, Game 6 on the road. I think nothing really kind of showed that more than there was a possession there last 2 minutes of the game. Chet Holmgren standing in the corner, and the ball, Shea brings the ball up. They instantly pressure him about the half court line. He throws it to Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams kind of takes a couple of dribbles and throws it to Chet in the corner. And Chet had a moment to where if he was ready, he could have shot that ball. I think it was a tie game at that point, or maybe the Thunder were down just a point or two. And Chet never looked at the basket. Chet never dribbled the ball. Yeah. He never looked at the basket. He never looked at the defender. He instantly caught it and wanted to throw it back to Jalen Williams. I mean, it did not want the ball in his hand at that moment. And
see, I think on the defensive end, he was one of the best players in the series.
Yep.
Chet on defense was one of the best players in the whole entire series. Now, like you said, right, there's some spots where it's like you want him to be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to stuff on the offensive end. But I mean, when the team is basically just Shea putting everyone on his back for 6 games, I just don't know what you can expect, because we saw J-Dub kind of be a shell of himself there from what games. Really almost the whole series, because you sit back and you look at game 1, Q-Tip. I mean, he didn't have a bucket until the second half?
Yeah,
I think it was.
Games, yeah. The first game it was like that, and then games 3, 4, 5, he was terrible.
Yeah. So you sit back and look at it, it's Shea takes basically, and I thought, as good as the Mavericks were, PJ Washington those couple of games, Luka turned it on the last couple of games. I thought Shea was the best player in the whole entire series.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, there was nobody that could stop Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and that's something that I thought should have been, and he did. He kind of did exactly what I thought he should have done, was go out there and just take over the game. Be like, hey, look, if we're gonna lose tonight, I'm going to shoot the ball 30 times, right? And I think he almost said that he would have 25 shots, 36 points. 8 assists. But, it is frustrating watching Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sometimes, because like that possession that I just mentioned, Shai gets past the half court. They pressure him instantly. He throws it to Jalen Williams. Well, he never went to try to get the ball back. I mean, it went to Jalen, it went to Chet, it went to Jalen, and then Jalen forced up a shot. They didn't score on that possession. Last 2 minutes of the game, or I think it was the last 3 minutes of the game, I want Shai to be like, give me the ball. I'm either going to shoot it or I'm going to assist it. Like, I know at one point he took a really tough shot in the last couple of minutes, and I was perfectly okay with it. I mean,
if they're taking tough shots, you want Shai taking those shots.
Yeah, I don't want Cason Wallace or Joe or even Jalen Williams, who I think is going to be a star in this league. At that point, I mean, he had become a shell of himself. He wasn't the Jalen Williams we saw during the regular season. I want Shai Gilgeous-Alexander taking the tough shots. I want him to shoot the ball the last 2 minutes, because I'd rather live and die by the MVP. And then the shot that, of course, ends the game. PJ Washington shoots a 3, and it gets blocked. Right, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, nothing but the top of the ball, and of course, momentum takes you out of bounds, makes your hand drag down onto his arm. And for some reason, and I get it, you can explain the rule to me 1,000 different times, whatever you want to do. If you block a shot, you block a shot. His arm drags down to his hand, drags down to PJ Washington's arm. And they said because PJ Washington didn't release the ball yet, because he couldn't, by the way, because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is literally keeping the ball in his hand with the block, that it was then a foul because his hand dragged down to his arm. Yeah. I mean, what an asinine call from the official. What an asinine rule, if that's the rule. The reason you can't release the ball on a shot when you're being blocked is because somebody's keeping it in your hands. I mean, what the hell do they think is going to happen? And he's jumping out of bounds, because you can't jump into a shooter, because that's a foul now. Yeah. So he has to jump sideways, blocks the shot correctly, hits nothing but the ball. They call the foul. Mark Daigneault challenges it. And ESPN butchers whenever Tony Brothers is trying to announce the ruling of this call. I hope it was clean on the radio, Preston, because ESPN, they brought in a rules guy. You know how they always have an official rules guy that comes in? They brought in a rules guy, and this guy doesn't shut up while Tony Brothers is trying to announce the call. Nobody knows what the hell is going on, right? So I think, and then they did a terrible job of actually explaining the rule. I was reading it on Twitter more than I heard it on ESPN, because it was brutally bad on how ESPN did that. But no, they said that it was because PJ Washington didn't release the ball. It was initially a clean block that went into a foul. I mean, it's one of the dumbest things that I think you could have in the NBA game, because you literally can't release the ball if somebody's holding it into your hands. I mean, if somebody's holding it into your hands, it's kind of like whenever you get met at the rim, right? If you get met at the rim and somebody's holding that ball from you dunking it, and then they slide down and they hit your arm, is it then a foul then? No, it's a block. So why is it different than whenever they're on the 3-point line?
Yeah. The thing is, it shouldn't have came down to that play in the first place. You're up, what, 17 points, 18 points? I forget what it was. And you just let the Mavericks back into it. I thought for sure at halftime, I was like, all right, this is a game they're going to win by probably 15 to 20. They're going to go back to OKC, and, you know, whatever happens in OKC happens. But, yeah, I mean, it just the whole the whole thing, and I've been in my messages battling for the last, I don't know what, 8 hours or something like that. So yeah, it just to sum up the whole entire series, it's Shea was great. Everyone else, the lights were too bright, I think.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, this is something that I talked about a lot on Saturday with that starting lineup. I get not starting Giddey. I mean, he wasn't that great in this. He wasn't good at all, really, in this series. And you had to move away from him. They did the right thing. But I really think it should have been Cason Wallace. And I don't know, maybe if it's just a rhythm thing. I don't know, maybe if it's just a rotation thing that they thought if they start Cason Wallace, it's going to mess up their rotations too much. But I think if you could have put Cason Wallace to start that game and then put him on Kyrie Irving, then it would have opened up Shea and J-Dub way more, and they would have been more aggressive. They would have had more energy on the offensive end to go out and play make. And for some reason, he kept, Mark started Isaiah Joe twice or in game 6, and Isaiah had a better game. I mean, give him props there. He had a really bad game 5. He had a better game on game 6, but still, I think just off of energy standpoint, because they had been playing every other night up until this game, and then they got a 2 nights rest. I mean, just from an energy standpoint, just to kind of preserve your stars, I really thought it should have been Cason Wallace, and then let J-Dub go play make, because I think that was the issue. Is J-Dub was just tired. It's hard to keep up with Kyrie Irving for 35 minutes a night, and then still.
It looks like Q-Tip has muted himself somehow. So there he goes. All right.
I don't know what happened. You got I thought you muted me first.
No.
No. So the Oklahoma City Thunder, they have the number 12.
Well, real quick on that, your point of Cason Wallace starting. I do think he was in the lineup at some point, and I think they went away from that before one of the games. And I was kind of surprised by that. So that's what I will say about that. Does it surprise you? You know, something that was really surprising to me, and I thought maybe I had just missed it until ESPN really pointed it out. Does it surprise you that Aaron Wiggins only played 8 minutes in those 8 minutes? I don't know what the hell Mark Daigneault does with what he does behind the scenes like that, or excuse me, I don't know what the hell Aaron Wiggins does behind the scenes at practice and stuff like that just makes him completely out of the lineup in Mark Daigneault's mind. But I mean, the guy's got to have some dirty secrets on Mark Daigneault at this point. It's like he just does not want to play him in big moments, and we see in big moments every single time Q-Tip the dude comes out, and I mean, for Jesus Christ, he saved basketball. Yeah, and they still just will not play him. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. He didn't play until late in the third quarter. No, he only played 8 minutes last night? Yeah, only played 8 minutes. You can't do that. I mean, they gave Gordon Hayward so many minutes at the start of the series. The dude did nothing. And, they started Josh Giddey. I mean, I don't know about you, Q-Tip, but I think I could close my eyes and just throw the ball at the backboard and probably give up the same amount of effort on offense as Josh Giddey did in this series. To move on to the offseason, I mean, there's glaring holes and issues for this team. And they're not like, the big, if they don't fix this, they're never going to do it. I mean, they just need to beef this roster up and figure some things out. Well, I believe if I read this right, and it was a screenshot that I saw last night, Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins are the big free agents this year from this team. I believe they're both they're not they're restricted. They're restricted. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Okay. So it's more than likely the Thunder will re-sign those guys. So Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, will have around $30 million in cap space or something like that.
And then they have
They
the number
should
12
have
pick.
they should have a bunch because they're going to have Hayward off the books, so his contract will be open, and I think they're going to have a couple other things previous off the books as well.
Let's see.
I could be wrong, but they should have decent money this year to do things. Yes.
That just tells me the contracts for the team.
I know for sure. Obviously, Hayward's going to be off the books. They're not going to bring him back. If they do bring him back, it's the dumbest thing they've ever done. Because he just added nothing to this roster. And look, I get it. You swing and miss on some things. If it would have worked, it would have been all fine and dandy. It didn't, and now everyone is like, "What the hell were you doing?"
What's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought I saw a thing that said they have around like $33 million of cap space.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But say that could be before Gordon Hayward. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
His contract, and they have the number 12 pick. But the problem is the draft sucks this year. So,
that's what people say, but we all know that. I mean, you never know with these guys. Just because there's not a guy named Victor Wembanyama or Chet Holmgren or, Paulo Banchero or anything like that doesn't mean that this draft sucks. It just means that there's not the highly rated guys that are in this draft like there was, last year and the year before.
I think I think they have to make a trade. I really think they have to make a trade. I don't think like a young player would be good. Yes. And especially if he contributed, you'd rather take a young player than an older one. But I think you have to go get somebody that is proven and that is going to make this roster better. I think you have to go and you have to find a better guard to fill. Or I think Josh Giddey's position gets filled with a power forward. I think, or even a center, right? You could move Chet up to the 4 if you really wanted to, and then go get a center. Jared Allen is a name that I know everybody's floated around. Of course, Lauri Markkanen is a name that was floating around during the trade deadline. I think either one of those guys would be perfect for this team, and I think Josh Giddey's expendable. That was the big debate. Going into the year was which one of these guys do you trade if you trade one. I think this series proves it's Josh. Now, could you have gotten more value for him at the trade deadline than you can right now? 100%. But you have every single pick in the next 4 years, so you might as well throw in a couple of those and go get yourself a solidified big man, or even a package where we saw what the Dallas Mavericks did. They didn't go and get a superstar. They got PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. Daniel Gafford, by the way, thanks to the Oklahoma City Thunder. You're welcome for that, Dallas. And they went and got those two guys, and look how much of a difference it made for their lineup. They went and got guys like Derek Jones or Derek Lively and Derek Jones, I guess. And I'm trying to think who's the other one they went and I don't know. I'm trying to think too much of the Dallas Mavericks roster, and I've been disgusted by it. But they only had 2 guys from last year that were in the Western Conference Finals that were from last year that were on the same roster this year. So it's just, you could really kind of take what the Dallas Mavericks are doing and use it as the blueprint. You don't have to go get a superstar. You have your superstar. You have your MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You have your number 2 in Jalen Williams. Is he as good of a number 2 as Kyrie Irving? Probably not right now, but he can it's after the playoffs, we're saying not right now, but he was dropping 30 in the regular season. Yeah. So I don't know, Preston. I don't know who the guy exactly is, but they have to make a move.
So Matt Ravis Saturday night on the final Thunder recap of the season kind of sold me on this idea. Instead of going out and getting another center, right, to play along with Chet, because realistically, I don't think you're going to be able to play both of them in the same lineup, right? How about going and getting a 4 that can rebound, do all this stuff, and bring them in? You can throw them into the starting lineup, right? Because you're going to be getting rid of presumably Josh Giddey, right, and out of the starting lineup. You bring him in, you basically move Dort and Dub up to the 2 and the 3. Bring in a big 4 that can come in and rebound, get up and down the floor, and I think that's probably the direction they need to go. I don't think they need to go out and get another center, because you just look at the centers in this league, Q-Tip, there's not too many of them just getting up and down the floor, right? Like the Thunder want to do. So I think if you can go out and get a 4 that can get up and down the floor, can shoot from outside, get rebounds, stuff like that, I think that's kind of what they need at this moment.
And you know what? It might be a philosophy change as well. Like we saw what happened whenever the shots aren't falling. You know, you get behind, you start to press a little bit, and then you have to rely on Shea being special. So, you know, it might be a philosophy change where you don't kind of live and die by the 3. You don't shoot 46 of them, or what was it in game 5? Something wrong.
It was a lot, yeah.
Yeah, in one game, you know, it only hit 10 of them. Maybe it might be a philosophy change. I understand Mark Daigneault just won the Coach of the Year, and the Thunder just got the number 1 seed, so you don't want to change things too much, but the defense changes in the playoffs, right? This is something that we've talked about a lot. The defense changes in the second half of the season, and then it gets even more intense in the playoffs, and that's whenever, you know, you got the lights shine the brightest. You got to step up. The Thunder didn't do it. So maybe instead of relying on just live and die by the 3-point shot, let's maybe have a philosophy change. I'm not saying go completely away from it, but maybe instead of, you know, 35, 40, 43s a game, maybe let's go 25, 30 a game and then get some more mid-range shots, because, I mean, that's what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is so damn good at anyway. He's such an assassin in the mid-range that you don't really need a guy to clear the paint like you would need for Russell Westbrook in the years past.
Well, and I think that the Dallas Mavericks defense this series just did such a good job just selling out inside the paint and not letting the Thunder get anything there and forcing them to take those shots from the outside, because once it became very apparent that they weren't going to be able to throw a stone in the ocean when they were standing on the beach in this series, that they just sold out on the inside and didn't let them get anything in the paint or anything like that, and just try and make them shoot from the outside. And to their credit, it worked. I still think that if the Thunder shot like their season average, right, that this thing was probably going 7. If not, maybe the Thunder even win a couple of those close games that they had early in the series. But unfortunately, it didn't go that way. The Mavericks played great defense on the Thunder and forced them to do things that they weren't able to do in this series. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they address all these things in the off season. I think this is a very important off season because it's very clear now that your championship window is open, and there's no telling how long that window is going to be open. So you need to go out and capitalize, get the things that you need while you have the assets to get the things that you need, because we've seen this before here in this city. You can have a championship window that's wide open, and you lose one playoff series and that door gets slammed shut right in your face.
Yeah, I mean, you never know how it's going to go from year to year, right? You think back to even if you want to look at years past, Kevin Durant gets injured, Russell Westbrook gets injured. The injuries really kind of killed the team, and that's just part of the game. I mean, that's part of
I mean, the Thunder aren't going to be the healthiest team in the NBA for the next 10 straight years. Someone's going to get hurt at some point. It's going to suck. But it's going to happen because that's just how the game of sports. We'll just say that. The game of sports, that's how it works. Someone gets hurt eventually, and your season gets derailed. That's just how it happens. I mean, we saw it, not this past season that just ended, but the year before, Chet, before his career even started, got hurt and was out for a year. So, those things
Shea a couple of years ago has already had surgery on a knee or an ankle or something like that. So it's time to it's time to be aggressive. You know who they need, Preston, and it's just because if the Dallas Mavericks re-sign everybody, right, and they throw those lobs, they need a guy that nobody likes. I mean, listen, I understand everybody hates Draymond.
You want to bring in Pat Bev?
Everybody hates Zaza Pachulia, okay? But if Derrick Jones Jr. goes up and he dunks again like that in Paycom Center, I want a player to jump up there and put Derrick Jones into the backboard, okay, and say, if you try to dunking on me again, I'm going to fight you outside in the parking lot, okay? I want a guy that everybody's scared of in the locker room, all right, that is uncomfortable to talk to the media. All right, it's time to get an ass into this locker. Oh no! into this. It's time to get an ass into this locker room. Okay, we have too nice of players right now. Okay, these guys like each other just a little bit too much. All right,
You want a little bit of hate in there?
I do. I want a little bit of hate. I want somebody to. You know what? The Golden State Warriors are thinking about blowing it up. I would much rather have Draymond Green on this team than Kevin Durant.
God.
Okay?
Oh God.
I'll say it. Give me that triple single.
No, there's no way that could happen.
No, I mean, there's no way it'll happen. Draymond Green will retire a Warrior, but it's time to get somebody that's just maybe a little bit of a jerk and will go out there and check somebody, because the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, K. Rich got in there and he instantly started an argument. That was beautiful.
By the way, I mean, this whole lineup stuff, that's something that Daigneault needs to figure out, right?
Yep.
Because it just seems like there's no to me, sometimes it seems like there's just no plan in some of the lineups that he rolls out onto the court, right?
And foul trouble had to do with some of that too.
True, but I think Kenrich Williams probably should have got a little bit more minutes because he does have like that dog in him, and they needed that at some points in that series. Obviously, Aaron Wiggins should have played a little bit more, in my opinion. They should have went with Les Hayward in the first 3 games than what they did. I think they probably should have took Giddey out of the starting lineup earlier than what they did. It just kind of amazes me they waited until game 5 to try that out when we knew after about game 2 that just wasn't going to work. So yeah, man, I agree. They probably do need someone that's pissed off all the time and just angry at everyone. But we'll see. I think that just getting some another big man of some sorts, whether it's 4 or 5, I think that's got to be the number one priority.
And what I don't understand, another one of these lineup decisions, and we can sit here, hindsight's 2020. If they win the series, we're not questioning it at all. Is Mike Muscala. They signed Mike Muscala to come back. Mike Muscala is a big man that can bang down low and also shoot threes. I mean, I thought Mike Muscala would be a much bigger part of this team when they re-signed him.
They dipped so far down into the roster to bring these guys out on the floor, and they don't bring him out there. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, you play like 15 guys already. Why not throw them out on the court?
You know that I didn't like Bismack Biyombo whenever he signed here. I hated that signing. Love the one of Mike Muscala. They didn't play either one of those guys. They made these moves for the playoffs, and then they didn't even use them.
Yeah. The one move that they did make, they used him and he stunk, and they still kept going to him until they realized, oh, hell, we shouldn't probably play this guy because he adds zero value to us on the court.
Yeah. What did I tell you, Preston? What did I tell you, huh? Whenever guys are drafted around the same time that I graduated high school, okay, it's time to move on.
Well, if we're playing the "What Did I Tell You" game, I told you Thunder are a second round exit. So,
yeah, I told you they were going to win the title. I was on that from the beginning of the year. So, no, it's Oklahoma. I mean, it's a bright future. Yeah. It sucks right now, and it's good. It's a good thing it sucks right now because
you need these moments to build up to whenever it does happen. It just feels so much better,
Yeah. So in Oklahoma City, if you need just somebody to pull the float in the championship parade, you just let us know. We'll drive the trucks and pull you down. Yeah. Pull you down whatever street we're going.
What did Happy Gilmore say? Only 364 more days till next year's tryouts.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, look, but at this time of the year, at this time next year, we're gonna be complaining and we're gonna be happy in June. Okay. Yeah. So you know what? It's a good thing because I had a vacation planned out in June and I didn't need to cancel that. So next year I'm gonna be ready. 2025, I'm gonna be ready.
I will tell you this, last night at around 11:30-ish, 11:15, somewhere in there, I very much felt like I had just taken my final exam of the semester. I had passed all my classes, and I was staring summer right in the face, especially with Memorial Day weekend next weekend. I said, you know what? That 3-day weekend is going to look real nice on me next weekend, and I got it. So, you know what? I can't say that I'm sitting here crying in tears at the Thunder loss.
Yeah.
Because I'm
No,
like, damn, next weekend is actually going to be pretty fun. 3-day weekend.
Yeah. It surprised us all. We weren't ready. We weren't
Yeah.
prepared. Now next year we're gonna be ready. I mean,
Yeah.
we got a full off season to prepare on how we want to hoist the trophy. You know, do we want to both hands underneath? Do we want to
Just
grab
like
by the ball?
One.
Yeah, one. You know, do we want to do something weird with it? You know, it's like we have all year to practice now. And we'll get better at it. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of awkward right now. So, well, by this time next year, we'll be pros. And the Thunder will be just winning in 4. So we won't have to worry about the Dallas Mavericks. And you know what? Good on the Dallas Mavericks. Have fun getting your ass kicked in the next round. You know what this is something that we haven't got to talk about yet, Preston. And the Dallas Maverick fans are terrible. Okay? They are absolutely god-awful, dumbest human beings that walk around this planet. It makes me nervous driving to Dallas, Texas, knowing those people walk amongst us. Okay? It makes me nervous knowing those people walk amongst us here. I mean, it's just nothing but monkeys and symbols in their head. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Okay? I tweeted out something. I said, after game 1, when the Oklahoma City Thunder blew out the Dallas Mavericks, I said, weakest number 1 seed in the NBA scene in a while, ? And then at Shannon Sharp. That tweet got bookmarked by like 15 Dallas Maverick fans. Let me ask you this, Preston. Okay? In what world is it an insult to me and to the Oklahoma City Thunder to say, look, they were the worst number 1 seed we've ever seen. We beat them. What are we saying there? Are
Don't they remember that
so bad?
the Boston Celtics lost in round 1 to an 8 seed last year?
Yeah, or that was the Bucks.
It was the Bucks. It was the Bucks. Yeah, Celtics lost. I feel like they lost another time, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Boston Celtics probably did. The Boston Celtics choked away so many times.
It was the Bucks. Yeah, it was the Bucks.
And then instantly Saturday night, they tweet at me, yes, they were the weakest number 1 seed. Buddy, do you know what you're saying? You're saying that my team sucks because your team beat them. That's what you're saying right here. You understand what we're saying, okay? Let's take a step back. Okay, and think about what we say. And then we had dumbass people talk about the Dallas Mavericks don't have any playoff experience. Kyrie Irving's been to the finals how many times?
He's won an
NBA
NBA
he has
finals.
a ring. Luka and Josh, is it Josh Green? Whatever Green it is. Went to the Western Conference Finals last year. Derek Jones Jr. was in the finals with the Heat. I mean, oh my God, Google's free. Google is free.
Well, and let's not act like short of PJ Washington going nuclear in games 2 and 3. I honestly, if he doesn't do that, I think the Thunder win one of those 2 games.
Yeah,
because I mean the Mavs didn't just blow the Thunder out in either of those games. Yeah,
I'm so glad that PJ Washington knocked up Brittany Renner and then she instantly left him. I mean, nothing makes me happier knowing that as much as he flexes and does, half of his paycheck is going to her. Okay, see you later, buddy. Have fun. All right, have fun paying child support for 18 years. You're the idiot. All right, let's not beat around the bush. So not a whole lot going on. Maybe that's why the Mavs fans are so damn dumb, because they resemble their players. All right. I mean,
well, let's not forget that a lot of the Mavs fans are Cowboys fans, and them Cowboys fans aren't the brightest either. So
hey. we have some pride over in Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys. Okay?
Yeah.
I know in the group chat, and I got a group chat with some of my buddies, and we're all Thunder fans except for one. One of them's a Spurs fan, and we were arguing about like what they should have done. And I said, "Hey, this is what they want. Let's go ahead and attack the Spurs instead." So we instantly just all started jumping on this one guy, and then for some reason I caught a stray. It was like, I'd hate to be Tyler. Could you imagine being a Thunder fan and a Cowboys fan? I mean, you haven't seen your team win a title ever. So I was like, my Rangers won last year. So,
and no one watched it, but yeah, congrats.
I watched it. Okay, I watched it. That's all that matters. I don't care. I don't care if I'm the only one watching it. I'll watch it. So, all right. Well, there'll be plenty of time where this offseason we're gonna break down. We're gonna react to all of the moves. We have a just a full offseason. Of course, the NBA playoffs are still going on. There'll be 2 Game 7s on Sunday. We'll talk about those series next weekend. The NFL is getting closer and closer. College football is getting closer and closer. It's going to be a really fun summer, and we'll break all that stuff down on our podcast. And we will be continuing our podcast at least until the boss tells us no, and then we'll have to figure out what to do from there. So, me and Preston aren't going anywhere. Kylie's not going anywhere. She'll be back. Well, she might go somewhere if she ever gets sick of us.
She might not just come back from Arizona.
Yeah.
I'd assume it's pretty nice out there this time of year.
Truthfully, if I had to choose between us and Arizona, I think I would choose Arizona too. So who can blame her? But that'll do it for us. We're always open for suggestions though. If you have anything that you want to hear us talk about, we do our top 5, top 3. We can draft segments. We're always open for anything that you want us to talk about. Gloves are off, right? It's the off season now. We're going to be talking about, we're going to go deep into the internet. Me and Preston are going to argue about the moon landing. So anything that you want to talk about, make sure and slide into our DMs. All of our DMs are open at QTip47, at PrestonPool405, at Kylie Osborne. I can't promise you that you get a date with Kylie, but you can slide in the DMs. At least give her a content idea to start the conversation. And I can't promise that you get a date with Preston either, but to give him a content suggestion, and it'll help break the ice. And then of course at Sports Animal, we are coming to you live stream on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. This is the only podcast on the Sports Animal and the only podcast or in radio show really on video. So we are going to bring you some great content this offseason.